Hello, welcome. This is Sam of Sambookery, and this is week 6 of my series Notebook to Junk Journal, where we are making a simple junk journal out of a spiral notebook. If you have missed the previous videos in the series, I'll put a link to the playlist on screen at the end of the video and in the description. So these are the supplies I've gathered for this week. I'm calling this week Final Touches. So these are all the kind of little tiny bits you do to make a journal like more personal and have more personality. So join me while I add some finishing touches to my notebook junk journal. Let me show you the things I grabbed to work on my journal this week. I have got a hole punch. I've got my eyelets and my eyelet setting materials, and that's what the hammer is for. Got some lace, some fabric scraps. I cut out some words from magazines here. I've got one stamp and some stamp pads, ballpoint pen, some acrylic paint markers and some distress crayons, paper clips. I made some charms out of bulb pins, some beads, and these feather charms. I've got some strips, long strips of paper here, a little stapler, some larger ephemera that I wanted to maybe paper clip into my journal, and that's it. You don't need all of these things, but I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be using today to give you guys some ideas. But let's get started and let's add this to our journal and finish it up. Let's start by adding some decorative elements to the edges of pages. I'm going to start on the front here because I want to add something to the edge of this envelope that is like the flip on our front cover. So I've got just these laces I had pulled at the beginning. Let's see. Fabric scraps are great for this as well. Even like scalped paper, like if you have a fancy paper punch or something. But I think I'll just put this little pink lace here right on the edge. Let me grab some scissors. So besides lace, fabric, you can also use paper on the edges, and I'll do that on one of the other pages. When I glue down something like lace or fabric, I like to use Fabri-Tac. It's a thicker glue, and it really grabs onto the fibers. And it dries really quickly as well, so you don't have to wait very long. If you don't have this, hot glue would probably work as well. They're pretty similar. All right, so I just ran a little bit of glue. And I've got a silicone brush here just to help me tap this down. Because the lace is so porous, the glue kind of comes through, and I didn't want it all over my fingers. But this dries within minutes, and you can just keep working in the journal. So I will just flip it out, and we'll let that dry over there. And let's find some more pages that need something on the edge. Let's put this blue lace here, this nice blue page. So my journal is a seasonal journal, and I have divided it into the 4 seasons. We are in spring here. So I thought this is a nice light spring color. Now you can put things, on the edge of the page. You can even leave like a little bit of space here if you want. Or you can have it hang over a little. I do have tabs, and I don't want to cover up the tabs, so I don't want to hang anything off the edge too far. But just a little bit, I think, looks nice. So let's run some glue down here. So this journal is by Xuxiao. I have a link in the description to it. All the pages are already printed with nice like pastel scenes of like nature according to the 4 seasons. So it gives me a great jumping off point for adding things to the journal. I'm not staring at blank white pages or blank pages with, writing lines on them. So I really enjoy this journal for this process. All right, and I'll probably do a lace in each section. So let's go over here to summer. Let's find something about this page. All right, you guys, what's a summery color? Oh, maybe this bright blue. Kind of reminds me of the ocean. I love to go to the beach. I like to go to the beach actually in fall or winter when it's less crowded. Because I don't actually like to swim, I just like to walk along the shore. But this does remind me of like nice blue waters in the summer. We did always go to the beach in the summer when I was young. So we'll throw this blue lace down here. All right, and so you can see on the back that it peeks out over the edge a little bit. Let's go into fall. What do we like for fall? How about this deep burgundy color for fall? There we go. Let's do this page. I find my lace at garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores. I really lucked out one time, and I guess an entire craft room had been cleaned out. And there was just bags and bags of lace, and you could tell the men running the garage sale had no idea what lace should cost. And I got tons of lace I've been using for a decade in my projects. It's such a good deal. So you can always keep an eye out for places. These we got, I think, at a thrift store in a just big bundle. I love using scraps like this in my projects. It's probably not enough to do, you know, a dressmaking project or something, but it's definitely enough for a junk journal. And winter, let's go to winter. I think we'll do lavender for winter. And I don't put something on the edge of every page in a journal. It just depends on how fat I want it to be. But I do put on multiple pages things on the edges. I just think it's more interesting than having a regular plain edge. But you can also run washi tape down the edge. You could stamp along it. I've poked holes and sewn with like yarn or embroidery floss down the edge just to give the edges different feeling, different textures, and just different visual interest. This is a wide lace. I don't know if I put enough glue. I didn't realize how wide this was. All right, and I could keep going, but I think you see me put enough lace in here. Now I wanted to show you using strips of paper. So this is part that I cut off of the cover. So this is the top here, and it's an extra long strip, see it's longer than the journal. So I thought I would just pleat it and add it to the edge. I do this a lot on a sewing machine, but you don't need to sew. You can just, we're just folding it. And then I'll just use some glue to hold these folds down. So it ends up looking like this, right? Oh, let's see, this is just paper, so we can just use Fabri-Tac for this. Not Fabri-Tac, art glitter glue. You could use Fabri-Tac, it will work. Art glitter glue is my go-to for gluing paper to paper. So we're just adding a little bit of glue and then pressing the pleat down. And I am trying to do this wonky. I don't want like a perfectly organized pleat. If you do, that's fine. You can get out a ruler and measure the distance between your pleats, but I'm trying to make this look haphazard and kind of just fun. No worries, no measuring, no stress. Let's see. I think that one's going here. And so you see how short these strips get when you start accordion folding them. So you do want to start out usually with something longer or hook several pieces together. All right, let me hold this till this glue sets, and then I just add this to an edge. It's a nice lavender color. Oh no, let's put it in winter. It might look cute right here. Now, since this is pretty textural on the back, I am going to use the Fabri-Tac, which is a nice thick glue, just to grab hold. The art glitter glue is a bit thinner. And there's no reason to this, just decoration, just for fun. So some other things I had that were strips is this long strip from wrapping paper from Gift Wrap. And this would be a fun one to fold. So let's see here. If I make the pleats a little, we've got a lot here, but if you make them a little bigger, it should fit the whole length of the page. So let's try that. So far, here's what I have. So I'll just keep pleating that and see if it'll reach the end. And if you use a sewing machine, it's super easy to run strips through the sewing machine. Just one straight stitch down the middle, and that holds all the pleats down. But I don't know if you guys all have sewing machines. So I'm trying to do everything super simple and easy with just glue and scissors. All right, so I'll go ahead and glue this one down, and then I'll show you how that looks, and then we'll move on to the next step in adding the final touches. Okay, I've got this one all pleated and glued down, and I just wanted to show you could do the same thing with old book pages. So let me add this in here somewhere. Maybe I'll add it right here. Just trim it off a little bit. You can kind of see just adding things to the edges gives you just more visual interest along here in between the tabs. We've got the paper sticking out, the different colors of lace peeping out. You can also go and add things along the top edge as well. But I think we are ready to move on to the next level. Okay, next we are going to add things to the tops of tags. So we might start with this hidden tag here on the front because it does have this backing showing through this hole I punched here. I can punch this hole out, but I'm thinking I had a little scrap of lace left over. I thought I might just staple that on here. Yeah, how cute is that? And it gives it a little texture, covers up that white. So let's top that in here. I might have to tuck it down a little bit because we don't have, I don't want to tuck it down too much though. No, that should fit. I did leave this pocket a little big. So now when you look through, you see the tag and you see the lace in there. So anywhere I have like tags or anything that's kind of plain on the top, I want to add something. So you don't have to just put like lace or ribbon. You can just make another element from another piece of paper and just glue, or I'm just going to staple everything on this round and just staple this on. So it's just adding interest, and it makes it easier to pull this out of this pocket here, right? So now even when it's already hidden in here, this is still sticking out and it's an easy pull. So that's all I'm doing this round. Now when we made these tags, we did add some yarn and some lace to the top of these. So I think they're okay. And I think this faux stamp is okay. But anything you have that's looking plain on the top. So let's see. Maybe here if we want to have a little bit of a pull, a little tab. Might just add this here. Okay, so that's all I'm doing on this round. So here's a tag. Now this one folds out, but I can still add something to this top right here. So we can add maybe a little bit of this strip of fabric here. We'll just loop this over and just staple this on. There we go. And so now when this is in the pocket, it's got something else going on, another texture on it. So that's all we are doing. So go through your journal, and if you see anything that is plain on the top, any tags in your pockets that don't have any way to pull them out, like this one, I really like this blue peeking out, but it's very plain and simple, right? This is another one of our trifold ones. It might be nice to have something on here. So you can use paper scraps, you can use fibers, whatever you have, combination of both. You can use a piece of lace. Anything just to give a little more interest to the tops of things. Let's see. So let me see what I want to layer on here. Got this blue thread, or a blue fabric here. So I like these two. Let's just cut a bit off and see what we can do. And maybe even a piece of this. So maybe we fold these in half. We attach them on here and then attach that to the top. So let me do that. So let's staple these fibers to this paper. And then let me open this up so I don't accidentally hook the layers together. And I think I'll just put some glue on here. So this is just paper to paper here. And I don't want to put glue on the whole thing because I want it to go over the top. There we go. And now I've got something interesting happening on the top of that tag. So I think that's probably all the tags I have in here. Well, let's see. We've got this photo behind here and it almost disappears, so it might be nice to add something to this. You can add this lavender here. Let's add it to the back. Add a little bit of glue. And then it might be cute to add a little bit of lace too. There we go. And now this is in the pocket. It's got something interesting happening there. I think that's it. So that's all we're doing on this one. For the next step, we are going to add some text in the form of cut out or found words. So let me make a pile here of the ones, I think that's it, that I found in my catalogs and magazines. And I was thinking what I wanted to add in here that went with my like seasonal theme. So I did get some things. I've got butterfly, which I think would be great for summer. I've got season, which I think would go with any of them. Caterpillar, I thought we'd put in spring. Zucchini, I'm gonna put in winter. I feel like squash is a good like cold weather vegetable. And then there were some maybe just big titles or questions in the magazines. There was favorite garden vegetable. There was this phrase, go for a walk along the beach. I thought that'd be great for summer. Creative inspiration. So just different things I found that I wanted to add in, and that would help me know what to include on that page, or just give me, you know, some visual interest in the journal. So I wanted to put the caterpillars in the front here in spring. Oh good, it fits. Okay, so you can use a glue stick for this. I'm going to use my art glitter glue. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll just put that across the whole thing. And you don't have to use all the words from a phrase. If there's, you know, one or two in the middle that, you know, will work with what you're doing in your journal, cut them out or add, Frankenstein them together. Add different words from different magazines or different articles and put them together to make a new sentence or a new phrase. Whew. This is very thin. All right. So we've got welcome caterpillars. Do have a couple of things that say butterfly, and I think I might see if I have a butterfly in here and I can add it to those pages. If not, it's a good title for a page and I can draw some butterflies, or I know I've got more in my magazines and catalogs I can fussy cut out and add to this. I was thinking to put butterflies in summer. So maybe on this page we'll put go for a walk along the beach. I think I'll add that here. I think the color looks really nice with this page. And then let's see if we have any. There's butterfly here. I think I'll add it up here because they're kind of going this way, so I kind of want something up here. We are going to also do some writing, like handwriting, different prompts or poems or something in here too, but right now we're just adding found words. So let's see. This is pretty. Magical moments. I think I'm going to add this here. Then I did want sunny days somewhere in summer, so let's add that here. Though most of our days are sunny here in South Texas, but they're extra sunny in summer, let me tell you. All right, and then fall is definitely the time for harvest, so I think I might just add this here with this fussy cut carrot I put down. Let's see. This pocket doesn't have anything in it. Let me see what I've got. Will this fit? Yes. All right. Let me add that in there. Favorite garden vegetable. I'll add this here as kind of a prompt for this page. Although I don't know if I could pick a favorite, but I might just list all the vegetables I like. And then we'll just do some creative inspiration on this page. And you can also, besides like labeling pages, use these found words in a cluster. If you've got some clusters that need a little bit extra. Let's see here. I like this with the colors here. There's a lot of blues on this page. So I think I'll just put this. What do you think? Yeah, maybe right here. I don't want to cover up too many of these trees because they're so cute. And zucchini for days and days. Oh no, did we glue? There we go. I don't know, it's so random. I'm gonna put it here though. It'll make me smile. And I do love zucchini. I thought about just cutting out the days or days and days, but I was like, no, I'm gonna put the whole thing. All right, I still have a butterfly. I'm gonna go back up here. You know what? This says all my love. I think I'm just gonna put butterfly on it. So I think that was like a greeting card, like a postcard you were supposed to mail. All right, so that's all we did on this round is get some found text. And you can also, if you've got passages, if you've got, you know, entire paragraphs of something that you like, you can add that in as well. Next, we're gonna do some doodling. Grab some paint pens, markers, distress crayons. Got a few things here. And this is a super easy way. Just use whatever you have on hand to decorate your journal and add interest. So I think I will just do like a zigzag along the edge here. All right, so grab your acrylic paint markers and you can doodle around the words that you just added to your journal. You can do the edges of pages. Ooh, that's a nice bright color. Now that needs to dry for a second. If you're using markers or something, you can move on. These acrylic paint markers work really good, especially even on like glossy stuff like magazine pages. But I do like the distress crayons too. These are more like oil pastels. They're more a little sticky. So you can use regular crayons, regular markers, like, you know, traditional markers would work as well. We can draw on tags, like the back of this tag. So let's see, it's got greens and blues on the front. So let's do something with greens and blues. All right, let's just do some lines on the back here. So now the back of our tag is not so plain. We can draw maybe some leaves on this page, and maybe I'll draw some caterpillars on there or some cocoons. All kinds of doodles you can do to personalize your journal. And this is great if you got just a plain, you know, spiral notebook with white pages. This is an easy way to add something. You don't need to know how to draw. We're just doing simple shapes and just doodling. Okay. that's back in. Even like right here, we can add just some marks here to look like maybe we sewed on this pocket. I love doing like faux stitching with markers or pencils. I'll do it on the bottom too. And this is great if you don't have a sewing machine, but you like that stitched look. Super easy to grab a marker, a pencil, a pen, whatever, and just add stitch marks. All right, let me let this dry. All right, so let's go here. So here we've got the edge of a pocket, right? And it's boring, it's plain. We need something there. So let's grab something. Let's try this one. And you can do simple scallops along the edge of the pocket. And then maybe we'll do dots along here, kind of like a faux lace pattern, right? We add a little bit pink in here. And now we've got a nice edge to our pocket. And we can do something along here too. Let's see. Just a little something, and then maybe down here just add some little stitch marks. All right, and let's do like a page border here. So we can do something like this. And then if you know embroidery stitches are great inspiration for doodles. Well, let's see, we've got these pockets here. They could use something. Let's see, let's just do something really loose. We'll just kind of make a frame and just a little bit of pattern to bring in some of the yellow from the other pockets here. So super simple, a million things you can do. Just sit down one day, grab a few things. Don't grab all your supplies, might be too many color choices. Just grab a handful and just play around. It's so relaxing and fun. I love adding doodles and little drawings into my journals. That's this step. Let's go on to the next one. I'm just gonna doodle one more. I just found this plain envelope here and it needed something, so. I just boxed the corners and I'm just stitching between the boxes. Okay, our next step is adding our own handwriting in here. We are gonna write in prompts for a page, something you wanna list or journal or draw for that page, something, and this is just pre-work. This isn't us actually journaling, like, you know, what happened today. This is pre-work, getting the journal ready to work in. If there's any quotes or poems that are your favorite or that would go really well with the theme of your journal, that would be a good inspiration for you in the journal, now's the time to add those in. And don't worry about messy handwriting. it's so much nicer to see something in someone's own handwriting than to see it like typewritten and glued in. It's more personal this way. So grab a pen. I've got a ballpoint pen. I've got this lay pen that's got a kind of felt tip. And I've got a Brush Marker Pro. It's got a nice juicy felt tip on it. I just grabbed a couple of pens. And this envelope here, I think needs a title or something because I didn't even remember I had it in here. And what am I supposed to put in it? So I think I will just write seeds, and maybe this would be a good place to store any seeds I might find. So make sure my pen works. All right. That looks terrible, but it's my own handwriting and I'm not going to worry about it. But I think I will color in some of these loops just to make it a little more interesting. And maybe this one in green. So maybe now's the time to write your name, the title of your journal, the dates. So definitely started this one in 2025. Call this Nature by Season. And let's see, how about in here we list my favorite spring flowers. And I'll just do, and just something like that, just a heading to give me a prompt for that page. So here I have put wildflowers I spotted, and I can list those here. Maybe here I'll put today the weather was, but just something like that. And that way when you sit down to journal, you've got a starting point. And then the next step is we're going to add some stamping. It's easy to go crazy with stamping. A lot of us have big collections of stamps, but I thought I would keep it very simple. I grabbed one stamp. I think it's supposed to be a date stamp, but you can scroll through and do any grouping of numbers you want. There's also a few symbols on here. So I love to use this one because depending on how many I use, I can have it fit the size of tab I have or space that I have. So I'm just going to line up a few numbers, and I just grabbed two inks. I've got these Ranger Archival inks in Plum and Sepia. So I thought I would keep it colorful in this journal instead of sticking with black. So we are just going to add stamping just for texture. I'm going to add this here. You grab one or two of your stamps and some stamp pads and go through and stamp things wherever you want in your journal. And I just do it as a different visual element. These numbers, sometimes I do put numbers in here that mean something to me. No one else will know what they mean, but they're an important number to me. And sometimes I just randomly twirl this thing and see what comes up. So let me add one right there. So just here and there, not everywhere, just to add a little bit of visual interest. Oh, well, I didn't change my number, but we'll add that same number right here. Where else do we need one? Never did add anything here yet. That. And it's nice like in clusters to kind of overlap several pieces. Sometimes I'll do them on the tabs themselves. These are pretty busy and they're slick, so I probably won't stamp on them. But if you've got some more plain tabs, it's fun to put a number on the tabs. I'll number this carrot down here. Let's see. So I'm just keeping it simple, but you can go through with several stamps that are kind of themed to your journal. I'm just kind of obsessed with numbers. I like the visual texture of languages without having a million words to read. And I'm trying to keep this one more like handmade, so I didn't want a lot of like fancy butterfly stamps or anything in here. All right. And of course, if you want to date yours, now would be a good time if you're gonna, you know, date it by the seasons, like when the seasons fall. You can maybe date the beginning page of each season with the first day of spring, fall, whatever. And I'll put one down here. And that's it. Simple stamping, nothing elaborate. Grab 1 or 2 stamps, 1 or 2 colors, and just add that to your journal. Now the last step I do is, I call it metal. That's when I add in like the hard elements. So I'll add in things like paper clips, although I think these are plastic coated. They are metal. So I'll add in paper clips. I use those to put in ephemera that I want to be able to take out, or that I want to use in the journal, but I haven't figured out where I want to use it yet, so I don't want to hook it down. Let's see, is anything in this pocket? I think I'm going to stick this guy in here, but I don't want to lose him. He's all right. I'm going to leave him in there. All right, so I've got these 2 pages. This is just a typing manual page from an old book, and I really like the color of the flowers on this page, and then it just said flowers, and so I wanted to clip this in here as well. So I'm going to find a page that doesn't have anything going on. Okay, because this is a folded paper, I wanted to put it over the edge of one of the pages and just clip it on. This is huge, so I think I better do 2 or 3 clips on this one so it doesn't come out. And then this guy looks like a good place for him. I think I will put a couple of clips too, just so it doesn't come out. And that's it. We're just gonna clip a few things in. And then the other metal I like to do is eyelets / grommets, I guess depending on your size. These are the small ones, these are eyelets. And I've got some little charms here on little bulb pins that I want to add. So I generally, and I don't know why I always wait to the end to do this, because it's a little more awkward than if you put the grommets in before you attach something to your journal, but I always do this at the end. To me, it's like adding the jewelry to the project. You put your jewelry on after your dress, like it's the last thing. So I always add the metal at the end, and I like to put grommets in my tabs, and because they're already extending off the edge of the journal, and that way I can add charms to them. So I got this kit off of Amazon. If I can find it, I will put a link in the description, because I love this kit. I had so many mishmash of tools and setters and grommets, and I could never figure out which ones went to which. And I bought this kit, and it came with everything you need except the hammer. You do need a hammer. It didn't come with this mat. I've had this forever from a different kit, which I couldn't get to work very well. This kit works great. So you just need to Get you a surface you don't care about. This is like, it's basically a mini cutting mat. And you get your die, which has the sharp hole in it. And that punched the hole out. And then we need to pick a color. I think I'm just doing silver for this journal. But it came with 4 finishes. It had like gold, silver, a kind of dark gunmetal, and then like an antique bronze. So super handy. Comes with the little rings so your grommets don't come off. So now we gotta flip this upside down. You put the setter, put your grommet, and then your paper, and then your little ring. And then this is the setting tool with the hole in it. And all right, so when we get our grommet in, oh, let's see, I did color code these per season. This is spring, so I'm gonna put this one on spring. And jump rings would work as well, but I thought more of you are more likely to have like some sort of safety pin. And jump rings, you kind of need the jewelry tools to open and close them. Whereas if you've got any kind of safety pin, that will go right in. So I'm just gonna add a charm to each of my tabs, and I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so I've added all my little charms, and you can see them hanging off the edge here. And I think that just adds a fun noise element to the journal. You can also add grommets other places too. You can do them on the top of your tags and add little charms there. Sky's the limit, but I like to at least get something dangling off the edge here on my tabs. So thank you guys for hanging out with me while I added the finishing touches to my notebook junk journal. Let's do a flip through and we can see what all we have done to this journal over the past 6 weeks. It is not too fat. I'm proud of myself. Although I only did 1 or 2 of each thing to demo it. I haven't actually sat back down and filled it completely yet. But let's have a look through what you can do with just a simple notebook, no printer, and just found materials, and how you can make a junk journal of your own. So here is my cover. I've got this envelope flip here. And I got this little tag inside. This pocket, and this was just a greeting card I had saved the pretty cover of. Here we've got wrapping paper tag and this fussy cut bee. We just did this tag, and then we made faux stamps one week just by drawing the stamp edge. Here's our lace border and some fussy cuts. That was fussy cut week. So I kind of want to go back and do something on every single page. But I feel like we've made enough to get started with. This is a journal you can pick up and start working in and not feel like, oh no, it's a blank page, I'm going to ruin it. Or I don't know where to start. Like we've already got a lot of things happening in here. Or I can list wildflowers. Here's one of our multi-flips we made. I love doing these. Super fun. Oh, and it's secret. Forgot about this. That's why I put the tab on, because I always forget about secret tuck spots. They remain a secret for me because I will never remember them. I'm one of those people, I don't like to live in clutter or anything. I like things organized, but if I don't see it, I don't remember it. I don't know it's there. So I'm glad I put that little tab there. Did some fussy cuts and some text here. And that's why I like this journal. Even on the pages I didn't do anything, look how pretty this is. There's a little person in a boat. Like it already gives me ideas on things I can draw or write on these pages. Got our little fussy cut cluster up there. Got this flip out. Here's our first tab. Nice big pocket ready for something. Oh, I love these pumpkins. They're so cute. And then this tag we just added to the top of. It's nice trifold. And this pocket's just an envelope we glued down. And we've got this pull out here, which I want to do some more with. All I've done is put this little pocket. But that gives me a starting place. And then sometimes if I don't have a lot of time, I can just do something on one page here. And I'll still have got something done. This was tissue paper we glued down. Here's a cluster. I like this fussy cut. It gives me ideas like midsummer party, and you've got all this like picnic stuff here. We've got our lace and our walk along the beach. These colors look so good together. This one folds up to reveal the lavender. Magical moments. I like this page. I had never seen this before flipping through. I think it's stuck together. So it's really pretty. I like that. Feathers and dragonflies. Sunny days. And then we just clip this on to add later. Here's our tab for fall. Yeah, we're already in fall. I like this big cluster here we did with the barn and all the fall vegetables. We've got, this is like a double layer pocket. I never put anything in the top yet, but then we've got this trifold journaling tag that we just added a top or two. And this is a tuck spot, and then this flips over so you can have like hidden journaling here. And then this one flips up like this. Super fun. There's this pocket. The big, these are just commercially available postcard sets. If I think I got them on Amazon. If I find them, I'll link them for you guys, because they're really pretty, like vintage florals. So lace, creative inspiration. I clipped in this flower page that I really like the colors of. There's more of our tissue paper, and then here's our last tab for winter. Oh, and we got this big angle pocket here. That's great for sticking in large ephemera. Today, the weather was nice to write down. Oh, this lace looks really good with the colors here. Zucchini for days and days, you guys. Maybe this would be a good place to write a recipe to use zucchini in. Here's our little bathtub cluster here. Nice to take a hot bath in winter. There's like an edge decorating idea. Guys, I did not wait for the paint pen to dry when I closed the journal, but I don't think it looks bad. You just got little colored dots over here. But you do have to be patient with these acrylic markers and let them dry for just a couple minutes. We doodled on here, and we've got all these little shallow pockets, which are perfect for smaller ephemera that you don't want to like lose in your pockets. So cute. Mr. Bird here, he's in the top. And then we added this here so we knew that our butterfly was hiding back behind this card. And here is our envelope. We can put some seeds in. I will have to seal it though, because you know, they will fall out. But I think if I put the seeds in a separate little seed envelope and tuck that in there, that would be perfect. There's so many more things I want to do to this, but I just want to get you guys started with some ideas. And then this giant pocket on the back with another card. And that was it. And oh, I forgot I put this on the back. Yeah, it's nice to put something on the back of your journals. You don't see it too often, but when you do, it's nice to have something back there. So that was it. That's my no printer needed notebook junk journal. Thank you guys so much for following along on this journey with me. I hope you like this video series. I know I do design printables and I do a lot of tutorials with printables, but not everyone has a printer, and sometimes your printer acts up and you just want to do something simple with some scissors and what you have on hand. So I hope this project inspired you. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.